speaking of billions, Carl Douglas is the only one in the room that's had $1 billion verdict, right?
Yes, I have.
So how did this come to be? Because we'll start there. We're going to get to all the other stuff you've done of your esteem. He's the only one in the Hall of Fame for trial lawyers here. Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I'm lucky because a good friend of mine, Brian Panish, asked me to join a trial team in late 1995, representing a family that had been tragically burned because of the way that the gas tank of a 1994 Malibu was designed. The gas tank was positioned 11 inches behind the rear bumper. And on a fateful day, a family of 6 were driving. They were stopped at Vermont in some street. They were rear-ended. And the bumper penetrated the gas tank, and it started an explosion. The mother of 5 children watched one of her daughters, who were so badly burned that her ears were burned off. Her right hand was burned off. She had to undergo 60 different surgeries from the Grossman Burn Center, Dr. Briones, I remember, just to try to return some level of normalcy. During the course of the trial, great lawyers Chris Bagnoli and Brian Panish, who worked the case up, found a document years before that the designers and engineers at GM knew about this issue. And rather than calculate and put on a fix that would cost $6 per car, they decided instead to pay the risks of any verdict that might come from these fire-producing vehicles. Brian and Chris brought on lawyers who were involved in the Pinto case back in the 70s. And the jury returned a verdict of $100 million in compensatory damages. And then we went to a punitive damages phase, and they returned $4.8 billion in punitive damages. I have a copy of the verdict form in my wall.
No, and it's great. This was 30 years ago. You remember every fact.
Absolutely. If you ever hear a jury say $4.9 billion, that is something.
Mara remembers like $11,900. You know?
Yeah.
You know, you're getting like Dordick now. You know.
What?
Stop talking about my verdicts.
Okay,
There's some good ones in there too.
There's some good ones.
For sure.
Well, Carl, congratulations on that verdict. So I'll probably finish this pour and probably a few other ones.
Absolutely.
But
you know, I have a good story. One time when I was a new lawyer, I went to the Compton courthouse, and in my department, Carl was trying a case, and I still remember it like yesterday. I went in there for a status hearing. I don't remember, maybe he'll remember this case. It was in Compton. They had on the plaintiff's side, must have been 20 lawyers. They had folding tables set up all around the courtroom. Everyone had like their own little folding table from Costco. And I was like, why did they need 20 lawyers on the plaintiff's side of this case? What was that case?
That was the trial moral that I won the Trial Lawyer of the Year award from CALA. There had been 20 workers who were working 40 feet up, creating the structure for a water treatment plant. They were using old scaffolding, and the scaffolding collapsed, and men were running for their life to try to avoid the collapse. People had their legs impaled. There were like 25 different plaintiffs. We had a joint trial. Dana Fox, I remember, was the main lawyer on behalf of the defendants. Jeff Wells brought me on. Dennis Elber, one of the main lawyers. The three of us tried the case on liability. And then after we won on liability, I was able to secure a second plaintiff for damages. There were perhaps 25 plaintiffs. Only one was Caucasian American. He was able to run from the collapse and not fall. And I was able to secure a great 7-figure verdict for him, even though he didn't fall.